Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Therosian Odyssey, Season 3, Isles of Uncertainty. It has been a little while. We have had some ups and downs with this one, but we are back and we are excited to be engaging in today's session because in today's session, our party is diving into combat. That's what they're doing. How is everyone? I hope you're all doing well over in your time zone. How are we all today?
Good. Here.
Yeah.
Looking forward
Everyone's
to it.
here. It's so good. Welcome back, Lindsay. We're so excited to have you back. Cool. So, let's introduce ourselves, shall we? I'm not going to go first this time. The theme is chaos, and I've received some feedback that going first and last is not chaotic enough. So I'm going to go. I could do my introduction anywhere, and you'll all be shocked and surprised when it happens. I'm going to pick on Lindsay first. Sorry, Lindsay.
No, that's fair. I deserve that for being gone for so long. Hello, everyone. I am Lindsay. I play Eva, our little Kenku Ranger. I've been away doing some stuff, but I'm back and excited, and hopefully I can bring some sense back into this group, because apparently they made some decisions while I was gone, and it's fine. It's fine. I love you all.
There's a wild accusations flying already. We've literally not even started the game yet. I don't know if we're about to engage in PvP at this point. Okay. Cool. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Jen, go for it.
No. Hello,
Fair
friends. I am Jen. My pronouns are they, she, and I will be playing your friendly local half-elven wizard, Estrella, who is very distressed because even though it may not have been very long for her, it has been 3 sessions and I cannot read. I find it very funny.
Still,
anyway, yes, that's me.
Still an ongoing problem for Australia. Yes.
Wizard,
everyone
yes.
else, by the way, Lindsay, just so you're aware, because you've been away, everyone else perfectly fine again. It's literally just Australia that can't read at this point. Everyone else is like, back on solid ground. They can find their components again. Everyone is fine except Australia. Cool. Kumi, you're next.
Hello, I'm Kumi, she, her. I'm playing Kolyuka, the barbarian who can't rage or cast any spells whilst on this island. But I find Kat has been nice enough to let me bend a couple of rules here and use my knowledge of wild magic and spirits to get my way with a couple of things. I can't wait to see how this battle goes. Gosh.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say you're making me sound very nice. The dice helped you incredibly well in those particular instances, but I did allow for some rather creative interpretations of some of your spells and abilities. All right, I'm gonna go now. Whoa, you weren't expecting that, were you? Hey everyone, I am Kat. I use she, they pronouns. I am the DM of this game. I am the facilitator. I am the deities of this world. And what I say goes, or at least that's what I like to tell myself. 9 times out of 10, that is not what happens at all. I'm also known as the Law Mistress on the internet, so you might find me there. But I will be running the game today. With that, I'm going to pass on over to Lulu, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I play Callista, the party's cleric, and she has been racking her brain as to how she can cure Estrella's not being able to read problem. She's got a couple ideas, but they all require a long rest. And of course, we decided to go and investigate this giant skeleton right at nightfall. So those will all have to wait till the morning. But that's fine.
If
Estrella
you
won't need
make
to
it
read.
that far. You will. I'm sure it'll be fine. Everything will be fine, I'm sure. All right. thank you all for introducing yourselves and introducing your lovely characters. Just a couple of safety bits before we start. Theros is rooted in ancient Greece and fantasy tropes. There will be some things that you might find in such things like tragic backstories that will possibly come up in this game. Obviously, I do not seek to use discriminatory or hate speech. Misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, racist, and ableist lens are not they're not present in this game, and they won't be. But there will be other things that might come up. If you find yourself at all feeling uncomfortable with what you're watching, then thank you so much for your support. But please protect your headspace first. I would rather everyone feel safe and happy. With that said, how are we feeling, everyone? Are we ready to dive in? For the sake of my lovely players and maybe some new audience members, I'm gonna do a minor recap, especially for Lindsay's sake, who hasn't been here for the last couple of sessions, and I just want to make sure that everyone is kind of on the same page. So, our party have found themselves upon their very first island of the Dakra Isles, and they have now uncovered a fair portion of its story. It used to be the magical lair of a gargantuan sea serpent who had formed a bargain of sorts with the island's former inhabitants. It would leave them alone and protect them from the sea's other dangers, but in return it would be allowed to feast upon the roots of the island's magical tree, named Andromeda, and worshipped as a god. The arrangement lasted many years, until one day Thassa, goddess of the sea, took issue with the beast daring to name itself a deity. She sent one of her devoted champions, named Pericles, to slay the beast at its home and free travelers of her seas from its terrifying reign. It was a long and arduous battle, and the beast was slain at the cost of the life of every warrior who took part in the battle, including Pericles. The inhabitants of the island moved away. Peace fell upon its shores for some time as the skeleton rotted. But one day, something fell from the sky. When it landed, it brought with it chaos and corruption, and the force of its arrival was one of considerable power. It blew down the great tree. It reanimated the skeletal remains of the sea serpent, who each night sinks its teeth into Andromeda's roots and corrupts it with wild magic which spreads throughout the island. And it also woke up the great spirit of Pericles, drawing him and his soldiers from the underworld each night to face this great creature. Now, as has already been slightly mentioned, the party have kind of traveled around this island. They've done a lot of investigating. They've spoken with some not quite ghostly inhabitants of this island. They've spoken with some eidolons. They are sort of spirits that are lacking in a body and barely able to kind of hold on to their memories. They are driven by sort of an unusual attraction to great magical sources, and a large number of them have kind of been drawn to the tree that is here. And they managed to get, thanks to the previously mentioned creative reinterpretation of some of Kaliuka's powers, they managed to get quite a lot of information from one particular eidolon, and might have pissed off a god in the process, but we'll worry about that later because we've got some more pressing issues right now.
Just racking up points with these gods.
Just racking up, or I should say, like, the piety points are just falling with some of the gods, at least. They managed to get quite a lot of information, and they found themselves able to investigate the skeletal remains of this fallen sea serpent. And in the last moments before nightfall, they realized that the sea serpent has some kind of strange splintered remains of horn or bone. They weren't quite sure what it was, but they're embedded within the skeleton of this sea serpent, and they decided to try to pull them out in the hope that it would kind of stop this sea serpent from reanimating that night. And then a few things happened. First of all, the dice did not fall in my lovely player's favor, and we had our first attempt from Kayuka, who rolled a 1 and a 2. So it did not go well. They had advantage, rolled a 1 and a 2. And we had our second attempt from Callista, our cleric, and with help from an NPC, Dion of the Burning Spears. That also didn't go well, rolling a 2 and a 3 at advantage. And Callista was somewhat pulled into a strange vision of this island, which we will revisit and re-explore in just a moment. But first of all, let us go with our final attempt, just before we hit the moment that that night falls upon this island, because we already know what's about to happen. But
yes.
Estrella,
Hi.
you and Tilly, you are getting into position. How would you like to approach attempting to pull out this fragment that you have taken?
So there are 2 approaches that I have that I'm going to be taking. The first is, or the first is that I will go ahead and I will take the alchemy jug that I have from where it's chilling, somewhere in my bag. I will go ahead and whisper to this jug, "Acid, please."
Acid.
Then I will uncork it. It will produce 8 ounces of acid. And I will pour it around this horn, just to try and not lube it up, but try and dissolve some of the either the horn or the bone around it. And then I will go ahead and brace myself under this horn and attempt to assist in pulling
this out.
Until pulling out, yes. I will try and help Tilly's pull out.
Estrella's approach is somewhat more rooted in understanding
moral
leverage
and leverage, yes.
A little bit of moral support.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, most of it is just the acid and leverage. Yes.
I love the term. We're going to use it again. You've lubed it up with acid. So let's see how you do. It is going to be with advantage. I'm going to go ahead and say that the use of the acid will significantly lower the DC.
Beautiful.
Because it was quite a high DC. I think I did mention before as well that the one that Kaliuka was taking had a much higher DC than everyone else's, just because of the way that it was pulled in. So it was actually the harder. Rolling a 1 or a 2 was not not the one, to be honest. But let's see how Tilly does. So
I believe in you, Tilly.
Tilly's got a great strength. Okay, Tilly has done very successfully.
Thank
Tilly has rolled an 18. And it's a 23 in all, at advantage. So yes, with the help, you kind of pour this. I love how polite you are to your alchemy jug. First of all, just saying please, always making sure to be polite to the magical items. Yeah. You never know when they'll become cursed and might turn on you later.
Apocalypse, yeah.
So you kind of politely request this jug to produce some acid, and it does so with little hesitation. You pour the acid upon, and you hear that sort of soft hissing, and you see the kind of steam rising, and you can see that it's kind of getting right into the cracks and sort of eating away at the bone around, and it significantly makes this a whole lot easier. This thing, by the way, I would say that each piece of sort of like of whatever this is that's embedded inside, I would say if you think about roughly just under sort of spear size, you're looking at something that the two of you have to kind of like pull at. Okay. And Tilly kind of gets their hands and kind of with you, a little bit of help and a little bit of direction from you as to perhaps the best angle and the best way to do this, manages to wriggle and
pull out.
Yeah. Don't know when this got so sexual, but it did.
We already established the
fantastic.
snake was horny.
Yeah, it is a very, very horny snake. As she pulls out, she kind of she sort of like she kind of like lets out like a with victory, and she turns around to everyone else and she goes, "One down," like that. It's at that point, Estrella, that you're kind of pulled back to the reality of what else is going on. Kaliuka is struggling significantly, desperately trying to pull this out. Eva, you haven't been here. How do you think that you would have been assisting Kaliuka in helping to pull this out? You are muted. Yes.
Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. I probably would have been there, like, also grabbing like the bottom of it and like trying to pull it up with her, attempting to assist with my lack of strength.
Estrella, so you are met with this sight of like incredibly muscled Kaliuka is like really trying. You can see them putting. I think actually you see the first like tug, not so much strength. There's a level of like, yeah, I can do this, and then the realization of, oh no, this is way more embedded than I thought, and the continued efforts and the continued struggle with sort of like Eva bent down trying to pull from the bottom, trying a level best to be any kind of assistance, and it seems to be stuck fast. It is not going anywhere, I'm not going to punish you by saying you somehow make this worse. I'm just going to say that it just does not even move a millimeter. And Tilly sort of begins to go, should I go and help them? And your eyes scan and you see over in the sort of further, I believe furthest away from you, or about the same actually, Callista and Dion. Dion has kind of his like leg up on the bone of the creature, and he's pulling, and he appears to have just tried to pull, and Callista seems not quite right. She is like she was gripping on tight, and then she suddenly, you see her grip kind of loosen and her muscles go a little slack, and she just sort of stares vacantly into the distance.
Callista?
At this point, Dion kind of turns around and goes, "Oh, you're going to have to give it a little bit more welly than that." And he tries again, and then he kind of looks properly, and he's like, Callista? Hello? And he sort of puts his hand in front of her, and she's just unresponsive.
I'm going to go send a flitter to try and shake her out of it.
You're sending Flitter over?
Yes.
Yeah, Flitter flies over, lands on Callista's shoulder. There seems to be no response. She tries to, probably, if I know Flitter well enough, probably tries to peck at her a couple of times to kind of wake her up out of it. There's no response. And at this point, Kaliuka and Eva, you're probably starting to become aware that something's not quite right as well.
How far away is she? Is she within 30 feet, or is this like?
No.
No, she's a
No,
little bit
okay.
further than that. I believe she's on
Okay.
the where she's marked on the map.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's double that. Okay.
Were you gonna shoot an arrow?
No, I was gonna try and do detect thoughts.
Ah, ooh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, but I need to get closer for that one.
I'll start picking my way over, just let me know how far I get before the entire thing goes to shit.
All right. Okay, so you kind of are all focused on Callista, and you watch actually as she suddenly stands up from where she is, and she turns around towards sort of like the cliff entrance where you all came in to this area, and she sort of starts to walk. It's not like a purposeful walk. It's like a very like drifty, dreamy walk. I guess is the best way of describing it. It's like there's no real purpose in it. It's just almost like she's just kind of like sort of following something, or she's trying to focus on something. And we'll figure out, Callista. As we spoke about in our last session, one moment you are with Dion, you are helping to kind of try to adjust this, and the moment that your hands clasp around this horn that's sticking out of this creature, you blink and you hear the voice of Clothis, and she tells you that there is some thing that has been missed here, something that could help you in your future endeavors if you pay attention. The sky around you brightens. You watch as this what looks like sort of wear and tear on the bones of this creature suddenly reduces considerably. I think you can probably guess that you are looking at. Well, do you know what? Roll me either a survival or a nature check.
Okay. Oh, that's a natural one.
All right, you guess nothing. It's just the age kind of these bones don't look quite so aged as they did before. They look settled here. And you would notice, because you've got a very high passive perception, that in this well, wherever you are now, the tree is still over. So it is not sprouted. You cannot see it still. You can just barely see its roots. You are not. Your friends are completely gone. You can no longer see them. What you do see, however, you hear first voices coming from behind you, coming from this sort of like cliff side. It's like this path that's surrounded by these two high cliffs. So it's sort of like a canyon path. Coming from there, you hear voices, and you turn towards it. There is a woman and a child. You can see the resemblance between them. They look related. Most likely mother and daughter, because they look very much like each other. They both have this sort of like long blonde hair. The female, the mother, hers is like kind of like pulled back into this like tight braided bun, and the child is sort of got hers like let loose around her with sort of small braids pinned backwards. And they have a couple of what looks like guards with them, or something along those lines. They're definitely like armed. They have weapons with them, they look like quite hardened warriors, and they kind of are sort of drawn back a little bit from the mother and daughter, but they seem to be there. They're looking around. They're keeping vigilant watch. They seem to be there in the sort of like protector capacity. And the mother is holding a sort of like a large an urn, like a jug, and she's carrying it towards these kind of ruins. And the child is sort of walking along next to her, and the mother is talking, and she's explaining what you can kind of pick up from what she's saying. She's quite far away. Is she seems to be sort of explaining the history of this island, essentially. She's explaining to this little girl that there was a great warrior that came and slew a serpent, and it's important that these stories are revisited, and that they are honored, and that they are paid tribute to, and that is what they are there to do. And as they're kind of drawing closer, is there anything that you would like to do?
I can't tell how old this was based on my poor survival check, but I mean, can I do an insight check to get like an impression of kind of Jackson, go away, dude. Oh, see, I started talking and both of my animals came up and are staring at me.
All of our pets are having days today.
Yeah, I see that. But could I just kind of get a feel for like of what these people, this woman and child, what their attitude towards the area is? I mean, is it like a religious type of a pilgrimage, or?
Yeah. Yes. I'm aware that you have a very high passive insight, but I would like you to roll an insight check.
I need to get another set of dice.
Oh no,
it wasn't
is it
a
bad?
natural one.
Okay.
It was a 3, which puts it at a 14.
Okay. Wow, that's still incredible that you can roll a 3 and get a 14 in all, though. That's, I know it's no 25.
No.
We often joke. Lovely viewers, Jen has set incredibly high expectations for this party, and anything less than a 25 is frankly a failure, apparently.
It is.
Who needs a harsh
failure.
DM when you have Jen on your team? Okay, so 14. I think you can get I don't think you can get any kind of specifics. I think you can get a sense that it looks like kind of based on the kind of demeanor of both the guards and the mother and daughter. You can definitely get a sense that this is the result of a long travel. The guards are they're vigilant, but they look a little tired. And I think a little bored, I think you'd get from them. Like, whatever the length of this journey and whatever this journey has involved, they haven't really had to do much. That's the vibe I think that you would get from them. I think you would get... This certainly feels like some form of tradition, from what the mother is talking about. And as she kind of draws closer, you can hear her talking, and her voice is very serious. You can immediately sense, by the way, they cannot see you at all, which I think you would be expecting at this point. That's quite a prominent feature of the visions that you have, but they have no awareness or no clue that you are here. And you can feel like the seriousness of her tone. The woman is teaching her daughter. This is something that her daughter is going to have to do one day, and she thinks it's incredibly important. And there's almost a sort of like a slight severity to her tone, I think. She wants absolute rapt attention as she's explaining kind of the history of this island. She's asking questions, almost to kind of like quiz her daughter, and sort of just make sure that she's listening, essentially. Whether it's religious or not, you aren't 100% sure, but I think that like it doesn't seem to resemble any religious thing that you know, or any religious pilgrimage that you are aware of. However, there's definitely a sort of sense of tradition to it, and it seems like this is something that needs to be repeated in some form of cycle. So something that the daughter will have to do, and something that she has to do on a relatively regular basis. But she kind of doesn't really go into the details and the specifics of it as she's talking to her daughter. And as they kind of draw level with you, there is a moment where suddenly something in the air of the island shifts. It feels different here suddenly. And you're not the only one to notice it. The young girl sort of stops in her tracks for a moment, and her mother kind of continues on. She keeps talking. She thinks that her daughter is at her side. And she stops and she listens, and you hear, as does she, a whisper of some kind, a low whisper, grumbling, that seems to kind of echo loudly and yet be quiet and close, and almost as if it's right by where the two of you stand. And it just says, "Child." And this young girl stops and she looks around. She seems surprised. Her eyes are kind of wide, and she sort of looks to try to identify where this came from. And the whisper repeats itself again. "Child, come closer." And it is at that point that you see this mother kind of, she stops as if she's suddenly sensed that something's not right. And she looks up at where the tree was once standing, and now you can barely see these roots kind of tipped over the edge. And she goes, "My goodness, the tree has fallen down." And she turns and she looks at her daughter and she goes, "Helene, stay by my side." And this young girl kind of goes, "Yes, sorry, mother," and rushes forward to join her mother. And at that point, you blink and you are pulled out of your vision and back with your friends.
Did I get a sense from any of that? What was what it was that Clothis wanted me to take from that? I mean, was it the whisper that was important, or do I get a sense of what I was missing?
I think you would get this. I mean, you have an incredible passive insight, an incredible passive perception.
A good thing.
I think that what you would come to understand is that this island has a story, the story that you've already discovered, about a sea serpent and a hero that slew it. I think you also come to understand that there is another story to this island, one that involves the woman that you are chasing down. She has been here, and something here spoke to her. perhaps something that is causing the issues on this island now.
But I couldn't identify where the whisper was coming from.
You could not identify where the whisper was coming from. No.
Okay.
And there was no form to it. There's nothing that you could see that spoke. You could just hear it. And with that, you are pulled back to where your friends are, and you watch as in the distance the sun dips just below the horizon. And Dion catches up to you, and he sort of puts his hand on your shoulder, and he's like, "Callista."
I'm sorry. Were you able to get it out? Were you able to pull the?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
We lost you there, like big time. And then he kind of looks up, and he's seeing the sun go down, and he goes, "Oh fuck!" And he's like, "All right, I think, guys." He kind of turns around. Darkness falls across the island. The sky turns black, and then it lights up red and casts this strange glow across everything, despite there being no source of light here that could possibly cause such a thing. You feel, all of you, the island begin to hum, and this strange feeling of something activating, something awakening. The skeleton of this gargantuan sea serpent begins to stir and crack. Its eyes, or the hollows that used to hold its eyes, light up red, and it lets out this low, roaring hiss, which Eva and Kaliuka, you would definitely hear because you're right next to its head. As it begins to stir, all of you would hear from relatively far, or it sounds far. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly how far, but you would hear this strange sound that I think all of you would kind of understand or know to sound like a horn that is blown before battle, like a war horn. And you can kind of hear the sort of like rumbling of like, the sort of like soldiers or warriors cheering or getting ready for battle, getting ready to claim victory of some kind. The presence of this sea serpent, as it begins to stir, the ground beneath you begins to shake. I would like everyone to roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
I got new dice out too.
I got 13.
13.
Callista got an 8.
I have a 14.
I got a 17.
All right. Okay. Everyone except, I'm so sorry, Callista, this keeps happening to you.
Yeah.
Everyone except Callista passed. So Callista, you are thrown prone, okay?
Okay.
You are kind of thrown to the ground, and this sort of like let me just do for Dion and Tilly as well, actually. Yeah, they're fine. bless Dion, he does try to pull you out the way, but he cannot quite manage it, and you kind of walk into like this sort of small crack that forms into the ground, and your leg sort of like gets caught in it momentarily, and you're thrown to the ground, and you feel like that twist in your ankle, and you feel like pain shoot through you. You take 12 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
Well,
As a kind of like a large rock kind of like also hits you in the arm, kind of tumbling down the cliffside. The rest of you do take 6 points of damage, so you take half unless you have something that means that it's negated. I know that some classes have abilities and such that mean half for if you fail and nothing if you succeed, but yeah, 12. I didn't expect to roll that high either. And I would like all of you to roll initiative for me.
Oh.
What if the snake just crawled away and didn't try and kill us?
What if it did that? Oh god, what a great what if. Anyway.
Well, I got my first 20 of the game on my initiative roll, so 32.
Hey! Okay, Eva. 20.
Well, with my additive, 32.
That's 21 total.
32 initiative.
I'm going first.
Yeah, I think you are. Sorry, Kumi, yeah, go on.
21.
21. That's damn good as well.
We're getting the fuck out of the head. Is what we're doing.
Yeah, Eva and Kalyuka are like, we can see what's happening right now. It's literally turning to look at us.
No, Callista got a 7.
All right,
Yeah.
Callista got a 7. Callista, man.
Yeah,
All
this-
right.
Second set of dice, I might have to pull out a third.
Yeah. Okay. Callista 7 and Estrella
22.
22.
I rolled a 19. Please clap.
Incredible work. Okay. Cool. Tilly and Dion didn't roll so good. Tilly rolled okay, but like Dion's going last. Yeah. All right. So you kind of find yourself. This creature kind of moves, and it slowly raises its head, and as it does, it turns towards the two of you, Eva and Kalyuka, and really kind of looks at you, and it raises its head and lets out a terrifying roar. Eva, you are going first, and I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw, please, at the beginning of your go.
Go to it from a 20 to a 1. 8.
8. Okay. You are frightened. You are frightened of this. Well, no, I don't think I blame you though, to be honest.
No.
So you may take the frightened condition, and with that, you may take your go.
Condition, frightened, I'll turn that on. Yeah, so that means I run the fuck away, right? Bravely run away.
So I believe you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while it's within your line of sight. Which, let me tell you, it is within your line of sight, and probably there's not
It's
really
within
anywhere that you can
It's
go,
within
but it
every
won't be.
single line of sight.
Yeah.
You have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, and you cannot willingly move closer to it. I don't think you can get any closer to it at this point. So feel free to RP, but there's nothing mechanically that says you can't like attack it and things like that. It just means that you have disadvantage.
I feel like I'll want to get the fuck away from the head. Excuse my French.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, I'll look to like Kalyuka just to get like reassurance and like we're gonna run, right?
Kalyuka just like. Can I make it do the thing? Can I make it do the thing? There we go. Yeah.
Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay.
Thumbs
Okay.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, we just gonna break its neck too.
Yep. So I am going to run. Am I up to 35 now? I think I have for movement. Yeah, 35. So I am just gonna book it 35 away towards Dion and everyone else.
All right. Towards Dion and everyone else.
So,
to see.
like that way.
Does that? Well, so here's the thing. This thing is basically taking up this entire space. Like, there's no way to really get out of its reach. So under normal, so you could like kind of look at it and be like, oh, well, you're technically going towards it because you're going towards its neck. But I feel like because it's such a huge creature, and it will be constantly moving around, I don't have like a token because it would take up basically this whole map.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, yes, you can kind of run that in that direction if you would like to.
I'm running away from the head, and that seems like the biggest threat at this point.
It's certainly the most mobile part of the creature. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I don't have anything that helps me against being frightened. I don't think I have anything for that. So yeah, I'm just gonna run that way. And then I'm gonna follow it up by a dashing some more in that direction.
Okay.
So
right.
move me a good old 7. Get me to them because I have 70 of movement, and it's 60 to them. So.
Okay. So you're going to just go straight next to kind of where Callista is, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, I'll pop you. Is that there? Is that okay?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right. So you are right next to Callista, who is I'm just going to pop her into a grid there. Is on the floor. And definitely looks quite hurt, like a kind of like a stray rock has kind of like hit her kind of in the arm, and she's definitely twisted her ankle, but not knocked out or anything like that, just a little bit hurt. And I think, is that all you can do because you've used your action to dash, or do you have anything bonus action you wanted to do?
Let me see if I've got any bonus actions currently, but I think that is where I am gonna boop, 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 boop. No, none of those. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave it right now. Yep.
All right. Okay, so that is your go. Kalyuka. Now, just to give you an idea, it has kind of like raised its head a little bit. I'm not trying to encourage any kind of like chaotic, wild moves from Kalyuka at all. But what I will say is that this protrusion, this horn thing, it is still within grabbing distance at the moment and not requiring a climb because it is just starting to kind of raise itself. Before you do anything, I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
I think Jen goes before me. She got 22.
Yeah,
I got 20.
she got higher.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. I have written them in the wrong order, but you're right. Yes. Estrella. Similarly,
Well, go fuck
you
yourself.
No. Estrella, you have managed to remove like the protrusion that's at your end. And I I think. What's your perception? Your passive perception?
My passive is a 17.
70. Oh, that's very high. God, I just have perceptive party members here.
If relevant, my passive investigation is a 23.
Also quite relevant, yes. I think that what you would notice is that area around where you've kind of taken this thing out, the bone is beginning to kind of like crack and crumble a little bit. It seems to have this kind of like weird like energy spreading through it, and movement in that area seems difficult for this creature. So it looks like it's trying to pull its tail out of the sort of like the water well that seems to disappear downwards for an eternity. But it seems like it can't do it very well because this area
basically
seems to be
paralyze
kind of like
it from the joint down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I have a question.
A question.
I actually have a handful of questions.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Feel free to tell
Okay.
me Estrella does not know. But does this thing count as a creature?
I would say yes.
I would like it to make a wisdom saving throw for me. I would like to try and cast the memory.
You're trying to cast what?
Polymorph.
Okay. Cool. Remind me what? Wait. Okay. Hold on, because from memory you're trying to cast this, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So, we did a really good, Lindsay, we did a little deep dive into exactly what it means that Estrella cannot read from her book. It does not mean that she cannot access her magic at all. It means that she can't read the spells. It means that she has to try to perform any and all spells from memory. Of course, the higher level a spell is, the more complex it is with all of the kind of like magical
This is a
signatures
4th
and
level
runes and
spell.
energy. And this is a 4th level spell, probably the highest that Estrella can manage at the moment, and she is now about to attempt to do all of this from memory. Okay, so you're going to say a wisdom saving throw. I think we need to figure out if the spell itself takes first, if it works. So I think you need to do I'm trying to remember what I did last time. An intelligence
I think it was an Arcana
check.
check or an Intelligence check. Was it
It was
Arcana or
an
Intelligence?
intelligence check, I think, because you had, which you won't have anymore because I think 10 minutes. How long did the Lulu,
I'm looking
Lulu
right
gave
now.
you
10
something?
minutes, right?
It's a concentrate. It lasts for up to an hour, but I would have had to been concentrating on it the full time.
Did you start concentrating on anything else?
No, that's the only spell I've cast.
Would the
Although,
vision
I
have
don't
broken
know if-
concentration?
Going into a vision probably would have broken my concentration.
Or even taking the damage.
I
from Dexter.
think.
Yeah, there was also damage.
Yeah, and I took
Do you know what?
damage.
Yeah. I feel like the vision would have broken the concentration, to be honest, because you were kind of pulled right out of it.
Yeah.
In which case, you no longer have that helping you, Estrella.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so just a straight intelligence check.
Yeah.
No, that's a 7. I rolled a 2.
All right. So, Estrella, you attempt to cast this spell from memory, polymorph. And I think that you get like maybe just like a couple of like rune tracings in, and you realize it as soon as you kind of like finish tracing like your second rune, you realize as it kind of disappears and takes hold that was not correct. You know it, and that's the most frustrating thing. You know immediately what you did wrong. You know immediately why that's not right.
Yep.
But it takes hold, and you feel instead this huge surge as this island's magic connects with you.
So here, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, am I experiencing the consequence from my previous removed curse? And 2, does this A, eat up a spell slot, and B, charge up the thing?
It's going to eat up the spell slot, yeah.
Okay.
Because you tried to
Mhm.
create this magic.
I expended energy, yes.
And what was the other question? Sorry.
Does it charge up the thing?
Oh yeah, that's what you're experiencing right now. Yeah. Except because it's nighttime, everything is a little bit stronger. So it's not about charges anymore. It's really just about it's going to immediately have an effect.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, good to know.
Alright.
Yeah, everything's just a little bit stronger now to make things more interesting. So, you don't need to roll
Oh,
d20.
Millie.
That's not Millie. I don't know who that is, but that's
The
not
heck?
Millie.
Yeah, that's Chen now.
Oh. I assumed it was Millie, because it's usually Millie.
Millie does normally get quite vocal. Do you mind rolling me? I would like you to roll a d20 and then a
I
d100
do mind.
for me.
Actually. It's an 18 on the d20.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the d100, it is a 79.
Just one moment.
Nice plus 10.
Okay.
I'd like to switch
So
my initiative
luckily
roll
for you,
with
an
my
18
intelligence roll.
is like a nuisance. It
Yeah,
is
well,
like a
so was the
nuisance
reading thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just happens to be a little bit more of a nuisance for Estrella and
A
a
little bit
particular
more.
brand of magic. You are suddenly hit with an extreme feeling of nausea. Like, it takes hold and you feel like you are about to throw up. Can you make a
Excellent.
Constitution saving throw against your
Maybe.
spell save DC, please?
Against my... Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit! That's a dirty 20 and my DC is an 18. I'm good. I'm good!
Incredible work. You would have lost your, like, next turn, your next action. You
Whew.
would have just lost it just to throwing up, basically.
I have had period cramps before. I'm good.
Yeah, you feel like this magic kind of reverberate around you, and I think the way that I'm going to flavor it actually is it's almost as if for a moment the polymorph tried to take hold on you, and you like kind of like felt yourself in the grip of your own magic, and you could feel like your feet. What were you trying to turn this into?
A worm.
A worm. Okay, so you feel like you could feel like your skin kind of becoming like ridged and a little slimy and smoother, and you could feel like, and you fought back. You had to really basically spend all of your energy fighting back against this and withstanding the magic as it tried to blast your own spell against you. Cool. So that's your action. Are you doing anything else?
I'm laughing at myself. I think... You know what? I'm going to eat a dick.
Well,
I
I mean in game. Are you doing anything in game?
Damn. I'm going to real quick, as a bonus action, manifest mind summon my my spell book as like a tiny little spectral book.
Okay.
And it is going to appear up my butt. It's gonna appear
Interesting
like...
place for you to put that, yeah.
How do I ping in this thing? How the fuck do I ping in this thing?
You
here.
want the
Like, here.
pointer. Oh boy. Okay, keep your thing there. Let me find a suitable little.
Just to try and get it a little bit closer to my friends, so that I can do things if I
that's
if I need to.
perfect.
Oh no.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you. And that is my turn. I will spend it dry heaving.
Oh no. All right. So you have summoned your spellbook and almost turned yourself into a worm. Fantastic go. Next,
Would I
up,
still
this
love myself
is-
if I was a worm?
It is Kaliuka's go now, I believe.
Wisdom save.
Yes. Wisdom save. Wisdom save. Oh, we didn't get Estrella to do a wisdom saving throw either. Please do a wisdom saving throw.
That's a natural 19 plus things.
Okay, so you're not frightened. So that's that. You got that going for you.
14.
A 14. Ooh, let me just check there. Can't 100% remember. Just about. You succeeded. You are not frightened.
Oh, okay. And so the smart thing would be not to fight it alone, because this thing could kill me. Kalika is gonna think of the fact that we will have potential help coming soon from underneath the tree to join in this battle. So you know what? She's gonna go the non-combatant way and look at this creature, hold out a hand, and try to steady it. And say, there.
Oh god, it's like the bird all over again.
And I'm gonna try doing this. I was gonna do this even if I fail, but I want to cast calm emotions and make it indifferent to us if it fails. It's a charisma saving throw of a very, very low 14, but if it works.
This thing is ugly as shit. It's not charismatic.
I would imagine it's probably. Let's have a little look. Oh yeah, this thing ain't charismatic.
Is calm emotions creatures or humanoids?
It is humanoids. Calm emotions is humanoids.
Is it not creatures? No,
it's not.
Oh no, that's a huge. Okay.
Does it?
It says you attempt to suppress strong emotions in a group of people. Each humanoid in 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point must make a charisma saving throw. And then it says a creature can choose to fail this saving throw if it wishes. So the word creature is used, but it does seem to specifically talk about the fact that you're trying to calm emotions in people and humanoids. I will allow you to choose to do something different if you would like. You would know this about your spells.
You know what? Eva ran away. I'm very upset I couldn't pull this out. Let's go back to Damakalyuka, okay? And attempt to pull this thing out of its neck.
Yes! Okay, you're going to attempt. Okay, so you don't have advantage. Are you going to rage? Oh, did you rage?
I've used up all my rage slots.
No, I think you raged before you did this.
Right before,
I think you did.
Can I stick to that rage? It would be 1 minute.
Yeah. Your rage would still be active. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think that you raged before you did this, and I will allow that to still be active. So you can. I think that gives you advantage, doesn't it?
I think so. And
I'm trying to remember. How do we play D&D again? Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that rage, and hopefully this works. Ooh. So I'm gonna try and break. Come on, please. Okay, that's a 19.
Yes.
And can I use my attack bonus?
Attack bonus. Are you attacking it or are you pulling this thing out?
Hmm.
It's a strength check.
Okay, I'll pull it out. That is the same thing. So it's 26 total.
26. That's incredible.
Just a check, damn.
I already mentioned that the DC for this particular piece of horn was a bit harder. You do manage to move it this time. Something about, perhaps it was to do with the way that it was laying down, and now that its head has risen, it's readjusted something, and it can now be pulled out. As you pull it, it does snag within this creature's neck, and it is still stuck inside. But you would see the visceral reaction of this creature as this thing kind of like gets most of the way out. It sort of almost deactivates and flops back down, and then begins to resurface again. But it's jerky. It's glitching out, shall we say? It's already this is looking a little bit more doable. Do you want to? It's still inside the neck, and this thing is still raising its head. So, do you want to attempt to keep hold of it, or do you want to let it go and let it raise its head?
I think I'll keep hold of it so that I'd still it doesn't go out of my reach later on if it like moves. And yeah, I'm gonna try and rodeo this shit.
All right, you are going to. I was going to say you will be like riding this creature on the back of
Yeah.
its neck, just so that we're all completely aware of what's happening here. Cool. I'm gonna ask you to do one more roll for me. I'm gonna ask you to do an athletics check for me, just to figure out just how well that goes.
Okay. That is 21.
21, pretty damn well. You have hold of this horn, and it's basically what you're using, and the creature kind of like, it jerks back, and as it does and you're holding on, you kind of get jerked with it, and now Kaliuka is like hanging in the air as this thing is like starting to raise its head. She seems to have like you can all see she seems to have pulled this thing out a little bit, and you can see like bits of bone are kind of crumbling from around the edge where this was embedded inside. Its movements are now jerky. It's also incredibly angry now. It kind of lets out this screech of fury, utter fury. Possibly the opposite of what this calm emotions that you wanted to do on it was, just like, be indifferent to us. It's very not indifferent to you now. I think it's very focused on Kaliuka in particular. I think you'd all be able to see that, but it has kind of become aware of all of your presence. It understands that it can't move its tail, and is definitely kind of attributing that to the people that were stood there. So it understands that you are actively trying to stop it, but still its head is rising, and it's rising towards the roots of this tree. That seems to be where it's drawn to. Cool. Who's next? I think it's Tilly. I think it's Tilly's go. Tilly is going to look at you dry heaving on the ground, Estrella, and she's gonna say, what do I do? We need to pull these things out, right?
Yep, go help them. I'm good. Go.
Mid gagging.
I'm just like, go.
All right. I think Tilly then is going to start running, probably in the general direction of where Callista's part of it was embedded. So she's going to start running towards there, and she's going to dash to do so. So let me see what her run speed is, because I think it's quite high. Or it's a little higher than usual. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, she has a... I'm so sorry, my application just quit on me. Like, now is the time to do that.
Incredible, we love it.
Incredible, we love it. Yes, 35 feet. 35 feet movement speed. So that would be 70 feet. That would be like the same as Eva. So she's going to... I'm going to have to roll an athletics check for her, which... just because she's got to get kind of like over bits of bone and like across cliffs and things like that. There's no real easy way of getting there, but she manages it. So she's I think it's her about here. And she kind of calls out to you, Callista and Eva. I'm coming, hold on. And yeah, that's about as far as she gets. Next up is... Oh, it's the Serpent's go, everyone.
What if it just sat there and looked at us angrily?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. Cool. So cool. So she's gonna... the thing is going to do a multi attack. And it's going to basically... the way that it's going to do it is it's going to do like a it's essentially going to send like movement through its whole body to try to like convulse, essentially. So it uses its first attack to attempt to sort of like whack its head and bite into Kaliuka, or to try to like move its head round to get to Kaliuka. So let's just see how that goes. That is Kaliuka, that's a 17 to hit. Does that hit?
Nope.
What? Damn. All right. Cool. So that fails. I think honestly, I think it's gonna probably, because it's got a multi attack. I think it's probably gonna do the same again. Kaliuka is its immediate problem. So let's try that. Again. Ooh, that's better. That's better. That's a 23 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah, that's gonna hit. Yeah, I think what it's doing is it's kind of trying to... it's like moved upwards at this point, and you're kind of holding onto it and barely getting your like hand to grip onto like the actual bone structure. And it's basically, I think it's trying to slam itself into like the cliffs to get you off. It tries to reach round and it can't reach you the first time, so then it kind of just full body slams you into like a nearby cliff. So let's get what the damage is gonna be for that. Which is... oh, that's... prepare yourself, that's significant.
It's 3 damage. Amazing. But you're raging, right?
19 points of... but it is going to be bludgeoning damage. So I think that's halved, is it? Because you're raging? Yeah. So 19 half, so that's good.
Damage. Kalika's pretty low on health.
And then it has one more attack. So now it's managed to do a little bit of damage to Kalika. I think then that movement then sends like a sort of tremor through its body, and it's going to kind of slam its body against that will be Eva, Callista, and Dion. Let's do.
My cloak gives him disadvantage on me, or gives it disadvantage on me.
Okay, cool. So let's do a disadvantage. So it doesn't hit you, Eva.
And Callista's prone, so she's harder to hit because she got knocked over.
Is that how that works?
It does for ranged. Probably,
it
probably
gives
it.
Yeah,
it probably gives it advantage on me.
I think it gives it advantage if it's like right up close to you. I'm pretty sure. So Callista, 15 with advantage.
15 misses.
Incredible.
16.
It just hits everywhere around you, but there's like a Callista shaped ship.
I'm just a little bit lower on the ground than it expected.
Let's see if poor Dion is. Oh boy, that's a nat 20 against Dion.
No,
Dion's gonna go
my
flying. Okay. Cool. Let's do. Whew, okay, that's going to be 22 points of damage against Dion of the Burning Spears, and he is knocked prone. All right.
Oh no.
It'll be fine. It will be so fine.
I just need to pull this out on my next turn. It's gonna be cool.
All right.
You can pull out. I believe in you.
Seemingly satisfied, it is going to extend its head towards the roots, and it will take a legendary action to begin to clamp its jaws. It's not got its jaws quite in there yet, but they're kind of like around the roots of the tree, and it kind of like gets itself set there. Cool. Moving on then, Callista, it's your go.
Okay, Callista has a really dumb idea.
Whatever it is, do it.
When she was in her vision and she heard that voice calling child come to me, did she get any sense of where that was coming from?
As in like a direction.
Right.
I'm gonna take a guess at what you might be trying to ask here. Are you asking me if it came from the serpent
Or the tree.
or the tree? I'm gonna answer you and say you didn't get an idea of where it was coming from,
Okay.
but you have felt the aura of the tree, and you know that it was not the same energy. It is not the same presence. It was not coming from the tree.
Okay.
It also didn't seem to be coming from the serpent.
Okay, interesting. She's still going to do it. She's going to pick herself off the ground, kind of look at Dion and Eva and say, keep trying to get that piece of horn out. And then she is going to use a first level spell and cast Disguise Self on herself and make herself look like the child Helene with the water jug.
Okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so you're gonna cast magic.
Yes, I am. It's a first level spell.
It is a first level spell. You're right, and that is enough to activate the island's
Yeah,
magic.
because
So,
it's
if you
night.
could please roll a d20 and then a d100 for me.
That is a 16 on the d20
Okay.
and 43.
43. Oh, well, that's quite nice and possibly quite good for you. You feel this. Do you know? It's almost honestly, as you kind of like feel yourself morphing into Helene as a child. And you said with the water jug.
Yeah, whatever she was carrying in the vision.
All right. It's almost like you feel like the island or something respond to you in that moment. And I think that the way that I'm going to flavor this is that you feel as that chaos magic kind of connects with you for a moment. You feel some kind of pushback from the energy of the tree itself, because you know that the magic of this is corrupted. The tree's magic is being corrupted by this chaos, but the tree itself kind of pushes back for a moment, almost like it's responding to this. It seems actually to be responding more to the jug than anything. To this like sense of familiarity, to this something in this memory essentially. And you gain 10 temporary hit points.
I can use those.
Yeah. And you kind of feel yourself, you feel like, the ache of your arm kind of dissipates a little, and you feel as if you can kind of walk on that ankle. Are you doing anything else or moving anywhere, or what is it you're trying to do?
She's just kind of moved forward a little bit. She doesn't have very much movement since she had to use half of it to get up, but she's just going to say, kind of just out to the general, environment, I'm here. Where are you? To try to get a sense of, maybe to draw out whatever else that was calling to Helene in the dream.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I didn't say it was a smart idea. It was just an idea.
I think you do receive something of a response as this kind of magic dissipates, and this tree is pushed back. You gain those temporary hit points, and you say out loud, I'm here. And the magic of the island, this chaos, this corruption, it flares for a moment, as if it has as if you have its attention, just for a moment. And then a voice resounds around your head. It is the same voice that you heard before, and it lets out a low chuckle, and it just says, you can't lie to me.
Interesting. Okay. Did I get a feeling that the tree was responding to the water or the jug in any particular way?
It was responding in some way to like the memory of this water, this jug. There's clearly some part of this ritual that was to do. I think you would have heard enough actually to know that part of this ritual is to do with sort of it's like some kind of purified water or something that was in this jug, and part of it was to spread it on the roots of the Andromeda tree to try to aid in her growth and healing after this kind of this serpent had attacked it so in life. And and this clearly came at a time after the serpent had been slain by Pericles. Helene's mother seemed shocked that the tree was now over, it was no longer standing. So this was clearly like a key part of the ritual of some kind. It was to pay tribute to the story, but the water was sort of for Andromeda, you got the feeling. You are muted. You're muted.
Sorry, my dogs are whining at me, and no one needs to hear that. With what little bit of movement I have left, I'm going to head slowly towards the tree. I think I only have like 15 feet of movement, so I'm not going to make it very far. But I'll head towards the roots of the tree.
All right. You are going to head towards the roots of the tree. So just so you're aware, the roots of the tree are just kind of off map down at the bottom,
Okay.
but they will involve a bit of a climb. You'd have to climb up the cliff face to get to them. To get to the roots from the other side involves kind of running all the way back round, which will take a long time.
Okay.
So you can you can either basically climb up the cliff face, you can climb up the creature's extended neck, because it is providing a quite nice direct path up to the roots where it's trying to clamp its jaws in at the moment. Or the one that I probably wouldn't recommend is trying to run all the way around, because it will take a long time for you to get there.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong with climbing up the bone serpent, after all?
Incredible work. You can try to you head over towards the bone serpent then, if that's what you're going to do, to start to attempt to climb. Cool. Let's check in with Dion, who I think has also been knocked prone by a very angry serpent. He is going to move forward, and I think he is going to attempt to he can just about get kind of his arm around. He's going to attempt to pull this thing out. So let's see how successful he is. Not very. He's clearly been knocked and a little bit dazed. But he kind of like calls out to Tilly, who is kind of running towards him, like, I need some help. And that is where we shall leave Dion. At the end of your go, the sound of that horn erupts around the area again, and you can hear it much closer this time. There is the sound of sort of thundering footsteps coming down the path, down that canyon path that you kind of followed in here. And you see coming into view a great being. Let me just show you what he looks like. He is kind of like this ghostly visage, and he looks like an ordinary man, but around him is this kind of like aura of sort of like foam and mist, and you can kind of see where some of his injuries were. You see he is made of sort of like tattered armor, and like there are little bits of like bone peeking through, but his eyes glow this sort of like very teal and turquoise, and his armor is kind of you would definitely see Callista and recognize his armor is decorated with sort of like imagery and kind of like dedication to Thassa, and he kind of calls out, the beast lives again! We must slay it! And he kind of rushes forward, and behind him there is a band of probably about sort of like 10 to 15 sort of ghostly men that are kind of like yelling and crying out and raising their spears and ready to fight. And they arrive, and the creature, it's this red eyes, its jaw is still clamped around the roots of the tree, but its red eyes track their movements towards this hero that has just arrived, and it lets out a low, unhappy hiss. And I think we should go on break. We are already an hour and a half into session. I do not know where this time goes. So we're going to go on a sort of like 10-15 minute break. We will be back at about 10 to the hour. Thank you everyone who has kind of joined us so far. Hope you're enjoying it. And we will be back with you all shortly. Happy time zone, everyone. See you in a bow. Hello, everyone. We are back. We've completely abandoned. Sexy thumbs as our greeting now. I've seen
We love
some
sexy
people are
thumbs.
just waving. Kumi's taken to doing like this. Like we're just all in chaos, which really matches the energy of this island that we have found ourselves upon. All right, everyone. So let's get back into it. If we're all feeling ready. You are in the middle of combat. For those of you that might have just joined us, our party are in the middle of combat. And seemingly help has arrived in the form of some rather impressive looking hero. You might have noticed that the token is looking a little larger than you might expect of a humanoid. That is to kind of show you the kind of weird sort of a radius that's going around them. But they are sort of, when to look at, they're not that tall. I would say that they are probably still shorter than Kaliuka. But they've kind of got this like strange mist kind of circling around them.
Size isn't what matters. It's okay. I love him anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't imply that it was. But what
I
you
love a man with a big
presume,
aura.
I think you would probably be able to presume this to be Pericles, or Pericles' ghost, has arrived on the battlefield with you know what, I really should have done. I should have done this before we went back to. That would have been smart, wouldn't it? Who said I was smart?
The hero is here.
I am just getting soldiers lined up.
I wonder.
There we go.
I wonder if both
Soldiers
he and
are
the
here.
Serpent are aware that they're stuck in this Groundhog Day situation. And if they are, they just see us over there now, like, whoa. Who changed?
Also, Kat, I'm not sure if we're supposed to be able to see them, but we can't.
Oh, you can't. Oh no, I know why, because I've disconnected. I'm just screaming to the void. Everything I'm doing right now.
Sometimes
is
you gotta scream to the void, and we love it. We love it. We absolutely love it.
Oh well, it doesn't matter if I had done it on the break, because you wouldn't have been able to see it anyway.
Yes.
Because I definitely wouldn't have realised. All right. Let's while I'm doing that, let's go back to the top of initiative, which I believe at the very top of initiative was the roll of 32 from Eva. So Eva, what is it that you are wanting to do?
Would I be able to use either my passive perception or insight to get an idea of like where I might be most useful right now, like between either helping Dion pull the thing out or potentially helping like Callista get to where she needs to get?
You could certainly.
My perception's a 22 and my insight's a 20.
I feel like, you're right by these warriors that have just arrived. There's a few different things that you could try. It's not that they haven't seen you, but their focus currently right now seems to be the creature.
Mm-hmm.
You could try to. You can all see this now, can't you?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
You could just see that the formation has arrived. You could try to direct them in some way or interact with them in some way if you wanted to. You are right by this thing that needs pulling out, so it might be, worth lending aid in helping to pull that out. Callista is definitely on her way to doing something totally different, but Dion is trying to pull this out, and he has requested aid. Tilly is also on her way over
Okay.
towards you. So he will have help from Tilly next go.
And with my current state of fear, like, would I know that I potentially won't be very helpful in pulling that?
I think that honestly, you're scared of this creature that you see in front of you.
Yeah.
It's not a stretch to imagine that you might not want to go anywhere near it. You just saw the huge amount of damage it did to Dion when it like basically collided its body into him. So you know that this thing is very powerful and it can hurt a lot if it hits you. And you are frightened of it. So do with that what you will.
Excellent. Okay, I probably will not help because with disadvantage and everything, and I don't want to go near this thing. So, I will sort of scurry myself to meet the oncoming warriors. My little small stature and all, little black little thing scurrying out towards them and sort of look up at them as they're coming towards us with my good old puppy dog eyes. My big black little beady eyes of birdness. And I will sort of motion them towards where the head is and where Kailuka is. And sort of like be like, go there first.
All right. So you wind your way over to where this very clear leader and his troop of soldiers have arrived, and they are a little bit like the Eidolons that you met. Actually, they seem much more. When you met these Eidolons, they didn't really have like huge amounts of form. And these are the ones that were by the tree, and they just seem totally lost. They're kind of like consumed by their very particular actions, or these kind of grasps of memory that occasionally were falling upon them. They didn't seem to have any kind of purpose or anything like that. These remind you of those Eidolons, but they seem far more formed. You can make out a humanoid shape. You can make out kind of what they look like, distinctive features. They seem to be driven by purpose, and that has given them kind of much more of a shape and an understanding of who and what they were and what they looked like before they perished. As Pericles has arrived, he has definitely yelled out that the creature has risen again, which implies that he is understanding of the fact that it is continually rising. But he also has not immediately noticed you, and as you kind of walk up to him, then he looks down at you and he goes, "There should be no one here. You must go to safety."
Eva will give a vigorous shake of her head, and she will sort of like stand beside him, turn towards the creature, and I am going to use an action to shoot at it.
Incredible. Cool. Go for it. Roll your attack.
I'm just gonna shoot with my bow. So that is, do I have I have disadvantage on my.
You have disadvantage.
Yep. All right, so I still hit with a I shoot with a 19. Shoot to hit with a 19.
I absolutely love that for you, and I do believe that will hit. Let me just check 100%. Yeah, that's gonna hit. That's gonna hit.
It was
it's
that or a
quite
27.
large.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite large. It's not difficult. It's not easy to. It's not difficult to miss. Sorry. So you hit it. Where would you like to hit it?
I'm aiming for the head, like where Kailuka is.
Perfect. Got it. Cool. Roll your damage for me.
That's a 10.
10
10 to the
damage.
face.
10 to the face. All right. It hits, and you see like your arrow embeds within the bone, so it definitely hits. It kind of it's almost a little it's off-putting how little it seems to affect the creature. For a moment, it just seems like it doesn't really like. It's almost like it kind of just like twitches, just at this kind of like, oh, this is strange. But it's so focused in on this tree that it is really just wanting to focus all of its attention on that. That doesn't seem to do huge amounts to it. And Pericles kind of laughs and says, "Ha! This one has spirit. You'll have to do a little better than that, though. Leave this to us." And then kind of surveys the battlefield and properly seems to register that he is not alone. And his eyes focus in on one particular person, and he goes, "Soldiers, there's a child on the battlefield." And he kind of the soldiers kind of scurry. It's like, to arms! We have to go and rescue them. And they kind of seem to start to make their way into the battle. Yeah, is there anything else that you're wanting to do, Lindsay?
I'm assuming no, that's it. Oh wait,
Does she get another saving throw?
Do you get? Oh, you do get another saving
get...
throw. You're right.
Okay.
To see if you're still scared.
So wisdom.
Wisdom, please.
27.
Hey.
Nat 20 plus 7.
I think it's the it was the implication that you were to run away that shook Eva out of it. It's like, hold on a minute. Okay,
don't tell me what to do.
This. Where the hell were you? Just like, I feel like that was the thing. And now you're kind of you don't feel frightened anymore. You feel like, this army have just arrived. They're here to help. They seem to be focused on attacking and removing the child from the battlefield. It seems to be their big thing that they're worried about. But they are not. They don't seem to be foes. You've established that much. They're definitely here acting as friends. Cool. You don't have another attack or anything like that?
I
do. Really
but
only moved.
Yeah, was that saving throw should have been before I started or at the end of my turn?
It would. Let me check that, because that will make a difference. Let me check that for you. End of the turn.
Okay. So I'll still do my second attack because I do have a second attack.
But that will be at disadvantage as well.
That's a 10.
10. A 10 does not succeed in hitting the creature. I think also what you've learned that might be valuable information here for you, Eva, is that it can take damage. This creature can take damage. It can probably die, right? Or die until it is reanimated the next night. It will take some time to fell this creature. It's not that it wasn't a good amount of damage. It's just that this creature has a lot of like strength to it. There's a lot of power that's keeping this thing reanimated. The thing that your friend seems to be doing seems to be having the most effect on it. you get the feeling that as much as these are hardened warriors, they're probably going to be battling throughout most of the night just to fell it, only for it to wake up again the next night. Like, this is the ongoing cycle. It will take time for it to die. It really, what needs to happen is the magic that is keeping it alive and keeping it feeding from those roots needs to be stopped at the source. That is what I will give you with your perception and your insight and the kind of information that you've received.
All right, so I'll end my turn with an eye being kept on Callista to see where Callista's going and if she's gonna need help possibly on my next turn. Because she seems to be on a mission, so I'm gonna keep my
Callista
eye
is absolutely on a mission, and you do get the sense that whatever Callista's mission is, Pericles is about to try and stop that mission. So he's going to try and rescue the child from the battlefield. Okay. Which is not necessarily a bad move from Pericles. I'm going to just put that out there. As a rule, please do try to remove children from any battlefields that you do come across in life, everyone. But just in this moment, probably not what Callista's going for. Cool. Let's move on then. It is Estrella's go. Estrella,
Hello.
that feeling of nausea dissipates, and you kind of feel like yourself come out the other side of it. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to give Eva a choice. And I'm going to shout out to Eva. Eva, you want to be real strong? You trust me?
Eva will flex.
All right, I will attempt one more time to cast Polymorph for memory.
You are... Oh, God.
So I'm going to essentially... I'm going to move my spell book because I need to be within 60 feet, and I can move it to 30 feet as a bonus action. I'm going to move it up to there, which should be 60 feet from Eva.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and try once more to cast for memory.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see what happens.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
That is a 15 for a total of dirty 20.
Okay. It's a 4th level spell. So I mean it when I say that you just succeed in doing so.
Amazing.
You will still activate the wild magic in the area. So let's see what that looks like. If you could roll a D20 and a D100 for me.
All right. It's a 7 for the D20.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And it is a 58 for the D100. Eva, I'm going to drop the link to the creature I'm turning you into in the video chat.
Okay.
Have fun being fucking massive.
All right. Cool.
Giving you a bit of a strength boost.
So, yes, you do turn into... What did you just turn Eva into?
A giant ape.
A giant ape. I had a feeling.
The bird is now an ape.
Poor Pericles is having a fucking night.
Okay. Cool.
Not a giant eagle, not a giant bird, a giant ape.
I wanted to give you strength so you could yank the thingies.
So what I'm going to tell you is happening here is you cast a spell and you remember, you know what you did on that second rune wrong. And it's like when you've done like a presentation before where you've come into it and you're nervous and it's like, am I going to remember what I was supposed to say? And then you kind of have this, once you get past that initial anxiety, you have this moment of like calm and you absolutely kill it. The second time around, you manage to cast Polymorph. And Eva, it's a strange sensation. I'm going to just, I'll be real with you. For a moment, nothing happens. And then just all of a sudden, you feel like this kind of like your muscles all begin to kind of spasm a little bit. And you start to watch yourself grow larger and larger, and your beautiful like black feathers with the little white specks, it becomes coarser and thicker, and they turn into hair, and
Suddenly, Paris is so small.
suddenly, yeah, I mean, you're looking at Paraces, and it's like, oh, it's
She is
compared to
huge,
me,
so
it's
she is
quite-
3 by 3.
yeah, 3 by 3. Okay, well, let's make that a reality, because that I need to see what that looks
Big
like.
Eva! Giant Eva!
Giant lady.
Giant Eva is here, everyone. Don't worry.
Giant Eva isn't real, she can't hurt you.
I like to think that essentially Giant Eva looks like a giant monkey now, still with this quite tight cape on, and instead of a mouth, there's just a little beak. But everything else is like very
So like
monkey-like.
owl bear-ish, but like
I think
bird,
kind of like
bird ape.
a crow ape. Yeah. Like we're creating a new D&D.
A hairless owl bear.
I turn them
There
into
we
a
go.
swoosh. I turn them into a swoosh.
Not a swoosh. We're not doing a swoosh. And yeah, and now you feel I don't think that you feel massive compared to this skeletal snake, but you sure feel bigger than you did. And that can only be a good thing. Paraces also looks quite surprised. I will just put that out there. The other thing that happens,
200 feet away, I give him a thumbs up.
the other thing that happens, and all of you feel this. Just this, can't quite put your finger on it, but there's just this sense of exposure, like this sense of vulnerability about you, but you can't quite put your finger on what that means or what that could be. But you just don't feel quite as hardened as you did before.
Me?
All of you.
What was the consequence for
That I'm telling you what the consequence is.
Oh.
You just feel a little odd. You just feel a little strange. Everyone.
I'm sorry, guys.
Everyone. Sorry, not sorry.
Yes. No, you're not. I believe you. I believe you're not sorry. I don't even think you're sorry about it.
To like this sense, like this kind of this weird shift in the air. It even seems to have affected Paraces and crew. But I will also say, just as a kind of point for those with incredibly high insight and perception, that for just a moment, the snake, the sea serpent, also like that red glowing eye just kind of like dims for a moment, and it also seems to be affected by this, whatever this is.
Aww. And I have used one out of my 3 instances of casting through my manifest mind.
Incredible work.
And you know what? Because fuck it, I'm gonna move a little bit because I'm so far away from everyone.
You've been beginning to feel a little bit lonely, Estrella.
Just a little. We're gonna go ahead and do that.
Nice.
Just hello. Just hang out here.
All right, just stop walking your way over. Probably still clutching your stomach a little bit, like
yeah, a little bit. But you know what? I am proud of myself. I turned my friend into a giant monkey.
Yeah, from memory. Like that.
And now, yes. And now they can try and do a Yankee yank.
When it goes all the way back to my turn.
A yoink.
Yeah. We need to get there first. Now it's Kaliuka's turn, however. Kaliuka, you're hanging on for dear life. What are you doing?
I need to pull it out. So I tighten my grasp on it.
Yep.
Call out to the thing and say, and tell it, your night ends now. Okay. And hope for dear life that I roll something good.
Actually, there's one more after that one. So, like, it'll end now plus a few seconds.
That's a 24 total.
24 total. Yeah. I think that's going to be a real success for you, Kaliuka. So you basically had this thing mostly out. You yell at the top of your voice, and you kind of use the momentum of the creature itself to pull it back. Now you were clinging on to this thing, so obviously now it's out. Gravity will take over here. I would like you to make either an acrobatics or an athletics check to see if you can kind of save yourself from falling.
Got it. I'm gonna do this thing where I fall backwards, and I'm trying to use it as a hook now to just like kind of like lessen the speed I'm falling at and give me a bit of leverage so that I don't just like drop down onto the ground. Let's see, that is. Oh, gosh. That's a 9.
Altogether, do you have any kind of advantage on this or anything like that, or was that with advantage?
No, I have it on strength, not on athletics. So it's 2 plus 7.
I thought it was all strength related checks. My apologies. Okay, so you rolled a 9. Okay, so with a 9, I don't think that's a complete and utter failure.
It is strength related checks. My bad.
It is. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Okay, that's a 19 instead.
Better, much better. So you kind of like push yourself off and give yourself this momentum off, and it pulls out, and you have this moment of like victory before that plummeting feeling starts as you begin to fall. Looking at what you are doing to that cat is absolutely sending me. That's a great impression of like Kaliuka's face as she begins to fall, and it's like the wind kind of catches. But you kind of like twist yourself in the air, and you use this thing that you have kind of like just pulled out, and you basically try to like pick it into the cliff side as you're falling down, and you don't like stop the descent, obviously, but I think that you do exactly what you were hoping to do, which is to slow it enough that you reduce your fall speed considerably. I'm going to say that because it was still quite high, you are still going to take a little bit of damage, but it's only nowhere near the level of damage that you are going to take. So it's only going to be like 1d6 of damage, okay?
Is fall damage also considered bludgeoning damage?
It is cool. It is bludgeoning, exactly. It's bludgeoning. So it would be 4 points of damage.
Perfect.
Yeah. And if you're halving that down to 2, then please unhalve that, because that magic that Estrella accidentally unleashed has taken into effect, and everyone here is now vulnerable to slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing damage. Everyone in this area, everything in this area is vulnerable to all those types of damage.
So if I'm invulnerable to it, if I'm resistant to it, does that mean it halves? Like it goes back to being
So I feel like it you are resistant, but you're also vulnerable, so I would cancel those 2 out and just say that you're at like an even, whatever is rolled is rolled. Whereas people that are just vulnerable, it would be like double damage, right? Yeah. So 4 points of damage to you. Cool.
So, has it had any effect pulling it out?
Yes. I was like, missing something here. What am I missing? That's what I'm missing. Yes, as you pull it out, you kind of land, and you do manage to, like, you scrape a little bit up the cliff, but you do, like, land pretty well. And you kind of pull out this thing. The end of this horn is utterly obliterated, where it's been, like, kind of dragged down. But you still got a part of it in your hand. You look up at this head, and it has clamped its jaws around the roots. But you can see where its neck is, there is this spreading this spreading rot that seems to be working away at the bones. There's like kind of rotted bone, kind of ash is starting to fall down, and it's like next to you, and a little bit it's kind of getting in your hair and everything like that. It's working its way down towards the center, and it seems to have had an effect on the head itself. The head is still active, but it's not able to really do huge amounts other than just like produce like noise, and it is trying to like gnaw at these roots. It is still trying to do that. But it's considerably weakened, this thing, and the only part of it that's really moving properly now is like the center of it, which is moving quite considerably in almost a panic. I think it's like a kind of instinctive panic that is set into this creature. But that's kind of weird, actually, watching it. Like, it's like its body is responding differently to how its head is. Like, its body is panicking, but its head is like driven to continue to gnaw these roots, even though it's under attack, even though it's like dying essentially. It still wants to do that, and that's a bit strange.
Got it. Yeah. So my first response was to actually run towards the middle, but just looking at the side, I do see a giant ape just hovering in the corner. Would I know it's Eva?
Would you know?
I think the confused look on its face is enough to be like, okay, maybe this is either a
I'll tell you exactly what you see as you land and you stop looking at this snake for a moment. Tilly is running towards Dion of the Burning Spears. There's a floating spectral book. There is things have happened while you've not been paying attention. There is a giant ape that seems to be covered in half fur, half feathers, with a beak, and is wearing. I think you could kind of guess it's wearing Eva's little cloak, but it's like it's like barely keeping on. It's so small on this thing. And there is also a child. There is also a blonde-haired child holding a water jug that's just kind of walking into the chaos. And this army has also arrived, and they appear to be kind of like starting to make their way into the fray. That's what you see. So.
Got it. I do also see the soldiers in the distance, and I think it's
Yes, you see
covered.
this.
I feel like they'll be able. I mean, all of them working on that end should be able to remove the shrug. I am instead going to run up closer to the tree. I am hoping that the Eldions that we met earlier today are there on the other side, or perhaps watching. And instead, I'm going to make a plea to them and say, help me save the sacred tree. Come, do not let its jaws devour it. And yeah, I'm just going to try to find a corner where I can get maybe perhaps half cover before taking my next action on my next turn to. I want to break its jaw, essentially, on my next turn.
Okay, so basically you've kind of fallen down this quite high cliff to get back to where the roots are. I can let you use your movement to climb up there, and kind of yell that out. But we need an athletics check.
Okay, no worries. And that is a 23.
A 23. Got it. Yep, so you can get back up there. Almost kind of inspired by the ape that you see. You're like, perfect climbing. Get back up and scramble your way up the cliffside. And you peer over and you can see like where this I'm actually gonna move you kind of a little bit in like that. You can see like where your it's kind of got its jaws clamped around this root. And it is trying to gnaw and it is managing to pull some. You can see like magic, some magical shenanigan happening where this connection point is. As you look over the cliffside, yes, you can see Eidolons. They are kind of they all look a little bit lost. They all look a little bit like they're not really paying attention. If you're trying to, I would say you're trying to persuade them to help you, right? You're trying to yell at them and persuade them. I think it will have to be that will have to be like a next go thing, because at this point you've done quite a lot in this go, but we'll have a look at how that plays out next go.
Yeah.
All right. I believe Tilly is next. Tilly is going to make. Can make it. Is climbing up onto this snake and is going to kind of stand opposite Dion of the Burning Spears, and they are going to attempt together. And we'll use Tilly's strength because I feel like Dion has not rolled well in anything that's happened so far. And with a little bit of advantage from Dion. Let's see. And that's a natural 20 from Tilly. So Tilly, like the brave warrior, just darts into the fray, climbs up on top of this creature, grabs onto one of the vertebrae and hauls themselves forward, and then grabs onto this horn, hands sort of clasped around Dion's as they kind of attempt to really extract this. And with a nat 20, I think that they would manage it. I think that they would get there. They pull, and this creature screeches at the top of its voice. It digs its teeth in harder and desperately tries to drink from the tree. And I think what happens then is where the body was attached via this, just kind of like this, where this horn was in its neck, that area crumbles completely and the entire spine just kind of falls limp on the ground. The head is still alive and it is still trying to get to this tree, but the rest of the body has died and has fallen. And they kind of like crow out their victory, and pant. And this thing is looking absolutely murderous. Who? What?
Nothing.
Who didn't do shit? Dion?
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the soldiers be.
No, not the soldiers. Dion and Tilly, they're celebrating.
They can celebrate.
Soldiers have been
plenty.
useless in this. They were been way too critical of like whether Eva was like strong enough to be on the battlefield or not, and spent too long doing that. Yes, so they're kind of like victorious, and the soldiers do look they look confused. I'm not gonna lie, this is not how this normally plays out. So they're a bit confused as to exactly what's going on. But they kind of like watch on. That is the end, I think, of Tilly's go. Let's move on to. Oh, it is the Serpent's go. Okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna read something real quick.
Nom 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 nom. Slurp.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Y'all watched him pull my hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we all saw it. Even me. All right. So, what he's gonna do? He sinks. It sinks its teeth into the tree, and as it does, it begins to kind of draw from this from the roots of this tree, and all of you can feel at this point, like the island's magic is very like sentient. You can feel it as you've kind of like done magic. I saw that, Pippin. You better stop.
I keep
that
telling you like an
attitude.
asshole.
Damn, that was actually aggressive. It begins to kind of drink up the magic of this tree, and all of you can feel the magic of the island, and the way that this tree's sort of like almost like purifying form is kind of combating and so weak versus this chaotic corrupting magic. And as it drinks, Kaliuka, you're in the best position to notice this. Around where its like head is severed, the bone there begins to grow and reform, and you can see that it is starting to kind of like almost kind of grow itself out a new spine. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it is basically starting to try to put itself back together, is the sense that what you are getting from this. It's desperately trying, but it has lost a lot of its strength, and it's basically acting on the last vestiges of instinct that it has left. So that's the creature's go, and it will take its entire action to do that. I guess that it is now Callista's go.
Okay, so Callista had heard that voice that she's been hearing see through her disguise, and so she's just gonna keep walking towards the head, but she's gonna ask that voice, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Okay. You reach out, and are you reaching out loud?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying this?
Yes.
Okay. You say that, and the response that you get is another like sort of low laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear it say, there is little point in telling you. You cannot lie to me, but I can lie to you.
Interesting. And does Callista recognize this voice at all, or?
No,
Okay.
you do not. But what I will give you is, whereas when you were in the vision and Helene heard the voice, it sounded close. It sounded almost like it was whispered in your ear. Now it sounds further away.
Okay.
It's like it's in your head. It's not
Mm-hmm.
here around you.
Okay, well, Clista's been desperately trying to get some more information, because Clothis told her that there was something that was important here. But she's not quite sure what's going on, and so she's getting a little frustrated. She's going to move as far forward as she can. And she knows that we're getting a little towards the end game here. We need to get this serpent down. There's no way she would have advantage because Kalyuka's too far away to be flanking, I would assume.
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's this thing is so huge that flanking is actually not really gonna be very easy to achieve with this.
Okay, well, she's like, screw this, and she is going to put away her dagger because she can't get advantage and it wouldn't have done very much damage anyway, and she is just going to take a chance. And what level is she going to take a chance at? She's going to take a chance and cast Guiding Bolt at the head at 3rd level. Which
3rd level.
Probably not a smart idea, but
it could be an incredibly smart idea. All right. Do you know what? Let's see. First of all, do I need to roll a saving throw, or do you need to roll an attack roll? I can't remember with Guiding Bolt.
No, that is an attack roll. I'm going to pull out Callista's dice and see if I can finally get a good roll. Yeah, and I cannot. That's a 2 plus 9. That's probably not going to hit anything. So that was an 11 total to hit.
An 11 total. You wouldn't hit it. However, it does activate.
Right, of course.
Yes. So roll for me a D20 and a D100, please.
There's the good roll. That's a 16. When it doesn't potentially matter as much. And a 27.
Let's see. That's actually pretty perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So you didn't hit with your guiding bolt. However, where the guiding bolt kind of like was aimed towards, the magic of the island essentially transmorphs the magic into another spell. And what that spell is that it's just turned into is plant growth. And it hits in this generic area where this creature is biting into the roots of this tree. And your magic, which is in of itself of a healing and purifying nature, combined with this magic that it kind of roots out the corruption that's within this magic, and once again the tree pushes forward. It feels emboldened, it feels comforted by your presence, and it begins to take hold on the roots of the tree, and everything within 20 feet of that area begins to like grow. So Kalyuka, what you see is it's got its what was these kind of like withered, gnawed, like dying roots of a tree that was barely clinging on to life now begins to spread through these roots, and this tree begins to sort of like bloom and almost like flourish with life again. So it's beginning to like gain some energy back, gain some strength back. And what I will say is with that, the tree is able to fight back a little bit, and that vulnerability that you were all feeling, that effect dissipates. It is able to bring that effect from you and stop you all being vulnerable to those kinds of damages anymore.
That's something, I suppose.
So you didn't have an entirely useless go. You accidentally cast the correct type of magic. All right. Cool. And then I think that it is Dion's go and Percy's too. So Dion is kind of going to. I think really they're going to basically begin to work their way towards what they can see as still alive, which is the head. So they're all going to start to move their way towards that to go and help wherever they can and finish off this creature. Percy is going to step forward and he's going to be like. I think he can see that you've all got this, but he's confused. He's trying to understand exactly what has happened here. So he's going to walk forward, possibly to meet Dion and Tilly, and he wants to. He just says to them, "Let me see that." And he reaches his hand out for the kind of like the bone, the thing that's kind of has been embedded in this creature. And that's the end of their go. So we'll go back to the top of the round. Eva, what is it that you want to do at this point? I am aware that you are a giant ape, and perhaps the time for giant ape smash has passed, but is there anything that you wanted to do? You do still have a very alive head that is still desperately trying to eat from the tree.
Yeah, I do want to go smash the head, but I don't know if I can get there in time. So my movement's 40. So I think that can only get me, like...
yeah, that can only get you kind of there. I think if you...
you know what I'll do instead? Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd probably... No, I was gonna say pick up Callista on the way and, like, carry her with me, but...
Mm-hmm. You could do that.
Yeah. Okay. But
I'll
I think
allow
she
you to
can.
do that, absolutely.
Yeah, but would picking her up's going to be an action or like an action, right?
I'll allow it just for the fun and the cool of it.
Okay. So
Callista's small. She'll kind of like jump at you.
Callista's quite small, yeah.
As you're running by.
Yeah, I am going to run by. With hopes that Callista will grab on, so I'm gonna dash, which gets me 80.
Yep. I'll get you to the head for sure.
Oh my gosh, just imagining the warriors looking at this raven person turn into an ape and they're like, we need to save the child, and then it goes, picks up the child and runs towards the head.
I'm not gonna lie, all of you, like, this has been impressive to Percy's, but I think that Eva's ability to A, shoot an arrow that well, B, turn into an ape that well, and C, like, just immediately, like, spring into action has probably impressed Percy's the most at this point.
So yeah, Eva's gonna run by, grab, so I'm gonna move 80 to the head, mostly to get Callista closer to the tree so that she can get to the tree in her next action, because I don't have anything left to smash a face in. So I'm just getting Callista to the tree.
Cool. All right, you are winding your way over to what's left of this and hoping to get Callista towards the tree, probably to
Yep.
help with some sort of healing and purification. Got it.
Yep.
Cool. We move on then. Estrella, what are you doing?
Okay, so there's fucking a lot going on. I think I'm just going to do butt.
It's like an instinct for you, isn't it? You
Yeah,
just
right.
can't.
I am going to try something stupid. I'm going to try, from memory, dispel magic on this head.
Dispel magic.
Just to see what happens.
Cool.
So I'll go ahead and roll to cast from memory and see what happens.
Sure.
I will
go
roll
for
an
it.
11, unfortunately.
Okay,
So
so
that's not going to go well.
Well, it's a first level spell.
It's a
Let
third
me
level
just see my
spell.
little- Oh, it's a third
Dispel.
level spell.
Dispel, not detect. Yeah.
Not detect. Just dispel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dispel. Like, it's pretty obviously magical, so I don't need to detect it. It's pretty
That's
obviously
not gonna
magical.
work.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna roll for nuisance.
Yeah. Got
It's a 15.
it. 15.
And the D100 is a 13. Lucky 13. Oh boy. Why are you laughing? Why are you chuckling? Oh boy.
No, it's a fine. It's fine. You. I mean, you will like this. You regain all expended spell slots. Your
Oh.
face is just like, what?
Well, okay then.
You feel reinvigorated, like you've just woken up. And you know, right at the end of the battle, couldn't have come sooner, of course.
Perfect. Perfect timing, honestly.
Just honestly perfect timing. I think genuinely all you want me to do is just say, oh, you can read again. Like, you would be so happy, but that's just the one thing that's just like not working out for you. Yeah, you feel reinvigorated. You look down at your spell book. You still can't read it. Cool. So that's that.
Oh, and I'm gonna move a little bit more.
Yeah, go for it. Just move. Get to as far.
I'm
as
making
you
my
can,
way.
To be honest.
Making my way downtown.
Make that way. Now you get to like kind of start climbing your way over all of these like bones that are barely holding themselves together. Cool. Estrella has done. Kaliuka, I think we come to your go. I think we come to your rallying cry now. Rallying cry for help. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try and end this with a bang.
Persuasion check?
Persuasion check, baby.
Let's go. Oh, that's not too bad. That's a 19 total.
I think that's pretty good. You. So remind me exactly what it is that you want them to do. What are you calling out?
Would this be counted as an action though, if I do it?
Were you wanting to do another action?
Yes, I want to break its teeth.
You want to break the jaw? I'll allow it to just be not an action at this point.
Yes,
I think that we're
perfect.
basically at the end of this, and I would just be prolonging combat by making you wait another turn. Let's not do that.
I'm looking for the Eidolon, the dancer Eidolon. I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. I'm looking for her in particular to kind of like.
I believe her name was Adelaide. If I remember
Adelaide, yeah.
correctly.
I'm looking
Adelaide, yes.
I'm looking for Adelaide.
Wasn't she
and-
back at the tree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
so
the
you can
other
see
side of the
over to the tree. So
That's right.
currently Kaliuka is looking over the top of the cliff top, and you can see all the Eidolons sitting on the tree.
And I'm calling to her to come and help free the tree so that this night doesn't repeat again. And then I am going to jump, and with my jump, I'm going to strike my morning star right on the jaws of the serpent and attempt to break its contact with the tree essentially. So it stops siphoning off it.
Mhm.
That is a 21 to hit.
Mhm.
And let's see. So the first one is 21. Okay, that is 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. Doubled because the tree kept this thing vulnerable to damage.
Ooh.
Everyone else, it pulled the vulnerability off, but this thing
Perfect.
is still vulnerable to damage. And honestly, there's not much left of this creature.
Perfect.
Your rallying cry, I think, is enough to you kind of like lock eyes with Adelaide, and she kind of looks at you. She seems a little more sure of herself now. She's had some time to kind of reflect and process and think, and she kind of nods. And she places her palm on the trunk of the tree, and she begins to sing. She begins to sing the song that you played for her earlier that helped reignite her memory, and it had actually attracted the attention of a lot of the Eidolons around. It's almost like music is kind of plucking at memories generally, and she begins to sing, and each of the others around, one by one, they begin to join in, and just for a moment they're connected, even if they don't know who they are or where they're from or what they're supposed to be doing. They feel this sense of connection to, oh, we're all here because we're drawn to this place, and maybe even if we don't know what our purpose is, we can give ourselves a purpose, which is to protect this place right now. So they all place their hands on this tree and they begin to sing, and they kind of you watch as one by one they make a choice. They don't have purpose. Adelaide does now, but the rest of them don't. They don't know who they are. They cannot remember anything about their lives, and perhaps they did something to bring themselves out from the underworld, but without that purpose and without that memory and without that understanding of who they are, what good is it? What did they do that for? And they choose in that moment to give themselves, give the energy, give what's left of them to the tree in order to reinvigorate it, because it has protected them here on this island for so long. And for a moment, Adelaide goes to do the same. You can see she pulls herself in. She gets ready, because even with purpose, even with an understanding of who she is and what memories she has, this would be a noble way to thank the island for the years of protection it has provided her. And there is no certainty in a life abroad. She doesn't even know if the people that she once knew are alive still. She goes to place her hand on the tree, and a nearby Eidolon, in just one simple moment, takes her arm and shakes their head and gives themselves instead. And she pulls back until she is the only one left singing. And the tree bursts into bloom. And the roots of the tree begin to grow and extend themselves. You watch as the branches twist and it begins to right, and the tree begins to pull itself up the cliff. That crack on that jaw is enough to break it, and the roots press themselves into the creature's throat and sort of almost wrap themselves around it and consume it and break it into small pieces, because they're not going to be pushed down by this creature anymore. And Andromeda is restored. Ketos, the sea serpent, is vanquished. And we will end the session there and pick up next time.
Not dead.
Thank you all so much. Huh?
We're not
What
dead.
did you say? You're not dead. You survived. You managed.
We're
it.
not dead
Well
yet.
done. Not dead yet. The true BBG Andromeda tree will. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. So, thank you so much, lovely players. Thank you so much for everyone that has been kind of like here watching, and thank you, Brady Kinnan, for all of your chat, commentary. I'm very, very excited to see all of these emojis. I'm just looking at, and I can almost like understand at what points.
Yeah, he thinks he's funny sometimes.
And I think he's very funny.
He is actually.
We will pick up in 2 weeks' time. We will figure out the aftermath of this, because Pericles is still here, and I'm sure has something to say about all of this. Yeah, thank you all. Let's chaos no longer exists on this island, so let's restore order and go in an order. So I will start. I am going to start with Kumi this time.
Hello. Thank you for watching us play, and I'm glad I got a couple of hits and just like it's a payback for that terrible 1 and 2 in the last session. But this is really fun. I can't wait to talk to the hero in our next session and see where this goes. And thank you so much, Kat, for such a beautiful story. Like it's lovely being part of this sort of mythical world and getting to really live the experiences of even just the NPCs. So it's beautiful story all over and lovely ending to this part of the arc. It's just really nice. You can find me over at the Pigeon Killers. We have been playing Beowulf the last couple of weeks. It's been quite interesting to watch as a DN duet, and I'd highly recommend it if you just are looking for something to wind down to. And yeah, that's it for me for this week.
All right, moving on to Jen.
Hello, friends. I am Jen. I can be found on socials at JenBurb because I am Burb. Yep, that's me. I'm sleepy today.
That's fair. That's so fair. That's so valid. All right, Lulu, you're next.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I've been playing Callista, the party's part Triton cleric. I don't hang out on social media nearly as much as I used to, but you can still find me at Lulu in WA. I have to echo what Kumi said. I am so happy to be part of this table. It is just like every 2 weeks just gives me life. I'm always so excited to see what's going to happen next.
All right, and last but not least, Lindsay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay. You can find me online at Chunky Chickadee, where I do a lot of cosplay stuff, and unfortunately that's what's kept me away from a couple of the sessions that we've had, because I'm ramping up over there and getting a lot more into my competitive cosplay life. But I'm back. Cosplay seasons are done mostly for the year, so I'm really happy to be back with all of these amazing people to create this world and this story that just means so much to us. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and yeah.
All right, and that just leaves me. I'm Kat. I'm known as the Law Mistress on some areas of the interwebs. I have been the Dungeon Mistress, the facilitator of the session, the storyteller, as it were. I every week, or every 2 weeks, I really enjoy playing with these people. They are a huge part of like the beginning and the middle and hopefully the forever of my actual play career. So big props to them, and they always manage to surprise and delight me as players. So thank you so much for joining us. If you've joined us this session, thank you for watching, thank you for playing, thank you for being here. I hope everyone has a lovely time zone. What is coming up for me? I have another I've been doing a lot more solo gaming, so that's every Thursday normally. There's the occasional Thursday I can't do, and it normally falls on a Wednesday if I can't do the Thursday. And that's me just writing. I do that every week. I've been playing some video games. It's autumn. It's October. I've gone a little bit spooky. I've got in line with the spooky season. So I've been playing lots of horror, and I've been playing lots of kind of creepy games. So if that sounds like your jam, then please feel free to give us a follow, because I'll be doing a lot more of it over the coming weeks. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everyone has a lovely day, evening, night, wherever you are. See you in a couple of weeks' time. Cheerio!
Bye.